You know that feeling, right? When you're just stuck, you're staring at a problem and you have absolutely no idea what to do next. Well, what if that feeling wasn't a dead end? What if it was actually a signal, telling you it's time to tune in to a deeper kind of clarity? Today, we're going to do just that. We're going to turn that confusion into a clear path forward. And we'll be using some timeless wisdom from Ernest Holmes, straight from his 1930 book, Creative Mind and Success. So if you're caught in that endless loop of analysis paralysis, where every option seems just as good or bad as the last, and you're just plain exhausted from trying to think your way out of it, then this is for you. We're about to get really practical about how to find your direction again. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about why we get stuck in the first place, the whole overthinking problem. Then we'll name the 3 big things that get in the way of clarity. After that, I'll walk you through a really simple method to get answers, show you how it works with real-world examples, and we'll even do a quick practice together. And then we'll wrap up with the key takeaways you can start using right away. So why do we even need a method for this? It's because most of us have developed this habit of looking everywhere for answers. We ask friends, we Google, we make pro and con lists. We look everywhere except the one place they reliably exist. Now, Ernest Holmes had this really powerful idea almost a century ago. To put it in modern terms, he's basically saying we are all connected to this deep, intuitive intelligence, all the time. Think of it like a universal Google that you're always logged into. The answers are there. We just have to learn how to hear the signal. And here's the crucial part. Clarity isn't something you have to go out and find. It's already inside you. The problem is our own mental habits tend to build up these walls around it, blocking the connection. So our job isn't to create clarity, it's just to identify those walls and start taking them down. So let's do that. Let's name the things that get in the way. There are 3 main blockers, 3 types of static that stop us from hearing our own intuitive guidance. And once you can name them, you can start to do something about them. First up is mental noise. You know what this is. It's the endless stream of to-do lists, the worries, the opinions from other people, the nonstop scrolling. It's this constant buzz that just drowns out that still small voice inside. I mean, you can't hear a whisper at a rock concert, right? This second barrier is that frantic feeling of urgency, that thought that says, I need to know what to do now. That pressure creates so much mental strain, it puts your brain into fight or flight mode. And clarity? Well, clarity just doesn't show up in a state of tension. It arises from a place of calm. And this one is subtle, but it is so powerful. It's contradiction. This is when you ask a question like, what's my next career move? But at the exact same time, your mind is just chanting, there are no good jobs, I'm not qualified, it's never going to work out. You're basically sending out a request for help and then immediately hitting cancel with a huge wave of doubt. So how do we actually get past these blockers? Well, Holmes offers a beautifully simple approach. We're calling it the quiet and listen method, and it's your direct path back to clarity. It really is this simple. First, you pose one clear question, not 5, just 1. Second, and this is probably the hardest part, you get quiet. This means you have to release the need to figure it out. You stop wrestling with the problem. Third, you just listen. You become receptive. And fourth, you trust the very first clear positive idea that pops into your head, and you act on it. Now, let's be clear about what we're listening for. This isn't usually some booming voice from the heavens. It's often much quieter than that. Think of it more like your mind's deep subconscious processing power finally delivering its conclusion. It can be a gut feeling, a simple idea, or just an intuitive nudge that feels right. This right here is the absolute key to the whole process. You cannot strong-arm your way to an insight. Your only job is to clear away the noise, release the pressure, and just create a quiet space inside. The answer will arise naturally to fill that space. Okay, so this all sounds good in theory, but what does it actually look like in practice? Let's apply this method to 3 common situations that pretty much all of us face at some point. Okay, look at this. If you're feeling stuck at work, the answer isn't a 5-year plan. It's often a simple nudge. Email that old colleague. If you're dealing with a tough conversation in a relationship, the guidance isn't a perfectly worded script. It's a shift in your approach. Start with curiosity. And for money worries, it's not solve your entire financial future right now. It's one tiny actionable step. Automate a small savings transfer. See the pattern? The guidance is almost always the very next simple positive step. All right, now it's your turn. Because, hearing about this is one thing, but actually experiencing it for yourself, that's where the real shift happens. So we're going to do a very short, guided practice together. So just get comfortable for a moment. I want you to bring to mind one area of your life where you feel a little stuck. It can be big, it can be small, doesn't matter. Just pick one question you'd like some clarity on. Okay, now just take a slow, deep breath in and let it go. In your mind, gently pose your question. And now for the most important part. For the next 60 seconds or so, we're just going to be quiet together. Your only job is to release the need for an answer. Don't search for it. Just listen to the silence. Let's begin. Okay, what came up for you in that quiet? It might have been a word, an image, maybe a feeling. It might have been an urge to do something really small. Whatever it was, don't dismiss it just because it seems too simple. That's often the sign of true guidance. And remember, you don't need the entire blueprint for your future. You don't need to have the next 10 years mapped out. All you ever really need is the next right step. Getting clear on that one thing is more than enough to get you moving again. So, as we wrap up, let's just lock in what we've covered into 5 key points you can take with you to stay connected to this sense of clarity. First, just remember that overthinking isn't who you are. It's just a habit that signals a blocked connection. Second, those blocks are almost always noise, urgency, or that sneaky one, contradiction. Third, the quiet and listen method is your tool. It's how you create space for answers. Fourth, learn to trust that first simple, positive impulse. It's usually the right one. And finally, always remember this. Your next step doesn't have to be big, it just has to be clear. And really, if you take just one thing away today, let it be this. We think the answers to our biggest problems have to be complicated. But what Holmes reminds us is that the opposite is true. The most profound clarity isn't found in more thinking, it's found in more quiet. If you found this helpful, there's a lot more practical wisdom just like it in the full Classic Mosaic Truth playlist. Next up, we'll be exploring episode 11. Thanks so much for watching.